All right, welcome back to episode 4 of Plainview. Another exciting week in Auburn football. Some positives from the Auburn front this week. Uh, Not much to really talk about, honestly, since they were playing Ball State. I
I've
mean,
got plenty.
okay, never mind. We have plenty to talk about this week. Uh, so we will go ahead and jump right into it. Just to go into the week recap right quick across college football. Couple games we want to talk about before we get into Auburn. First game, which was I don't know if you would consider this a shocker or not, but the featured game that we talked about this past week. Well, actually, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Mississippi State and Arizona State. Um, this was a game that I think everybody kind of blew over and was like, "Oh yeah, Arizona State ranked number 12. Like they're going to beat Mississippi State, who's still kind of recovering, and Mississippi State comes out and wins in Starkville. Um,
We should have known when Mississippi State brought out their All Blacks. Um, yeah, we should have known. They had Sam Leavitt in hell.
yeah, I mean, just some high level like stats here. I mean, Sam Levitt went 10 of 22 for 82 yards, one touchdown, two interceptions. I mean, to be fair, Arizona State had 251 yards rushing. Um, but you ain't gonna win ball games throwing two interceptions. Um, so good on Mississippi State to get a big win against who was the number 12 team. Don't really see them staying in the top 25 for much longer.
Well,
This
even on the flip side of that too, I mean, we you haven't really had great quarterback play out of Blake Shapen for the last couple of years, and I mean, coming in with 279 passing yards and three touchdowns to pull off a late game upset. I mean, he threw a 30-yard touchdown with 40 seconds to go
yeah,
that put him ahead, and I mean, it was a dot. I mean, great route concept on
Great
the
route.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great route concept on the outside. Had the outside guy run a corner, and then the inside guy. Oh, I'm sorry, the outside guy swapped with the inside guy and ran a post. I mean, it was beautiful. But I mean, a year ago, I would have told you that he wouldn't been able to make that throw to step up
A
and make
year
a
ago,
throw
they
like
would not have been in the position to try and win it that late in the game.
that. Yeah, absolutely
So,
fair.
but
But
Arizona State is out of the rankings now.
yeah. Well, and I mean, to y'all's point too, just talking about Mississippi State. I mean, it also helps when the leading receiver for Mississippi State, you're talking about Ben Chapin, at quarterback, receiver, Thompson, number 0, helps when he goes 6 receptions for 133 yards and two touchdowns.
yeah,
So, the next game that we want to talk about was one hell of an upset. South Florida and Florida. South Florida going into the swamp and
Overrated.
beating Florida. Billy Napier is sitting on a nuclear bomb right now.
He's bad.
Yeah, dude, that is insane. And Nick, correct me if I'm wrong because you mentioned something about this. Wasn't South Florida's starting quarterback out this week?
he was out for a half. He got
Out
suspended.
for
Yeah.
a half. So,
Byron, I didn't see that Byron was out the first half.
Byron Brown. Yep. He got caught at a frat party. I think the night after the game, and coach told him that he was sitting for the first half of the Florida game.
so he did not sit the second half because he was the leading passer of the game with 23 of 36 for 263 yards. So,
No, Byron Brown started this game. Yeah, Byron Brown played the entire game.
Hmm.
then
Well,
who
I do apologize. I saw a news
No,
article that said that Homeboy was not playing.
for South Florida. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh well.
no,
My bad. My fault.
So we need our listeners at home, all 6 of you, since you guys are smarter than us, to tell us if there was a quarterback for South Florida that got suspended one game for going to a frat party. Honestly, really good suspension. I wouldn't blame him. But yeah. But regardless, going back to the topic at hand, um, like is South Florida, are they going to be the G5 candidate this year in the college football playoff?
Well, I say, I mean, if they beat Miami next week, write them in. Like, just go ahead. Because if they can go and beat Boise State, Florida, and Miami back to back to back, I mean, when they go to play their conference games, it's going to be like cupcakes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they're really setting themselves up to even walk out of this if they do lose to Miami. Like they're walking out of this 2-1 after a gauntlet of three straight ranked,
Oh yeah, and
away games. Well, I
they're in
mean,
the
technically they played Boise State, but at home, but still,
and they're in the American, correct?
yes,
Yeah, they're in the American. Just looking at it here, trying to get their schedule pulled up too. So you mentioned Miami, Nick.
yeah.
So after that, their schedule is South Carolina State, Charlotte, North Texas, FAU, Memphis, UTSA. They're at Navy. So
Next two hardest games are Memphis and UTSA.
yeah, I mean maybe Navy at
Well,
Navy.
UTSA is already 0-2. I don't know who they played, but Navy will be a tough one.
So
Maybe
I mean,
UNT.
so the thing is like, yeah, probably UNT is. I mean Rice, but just because Rice is a gimmick offense.
Yeah.
Either I mean they're going to live by the triple option and die by the triple option. So I mean, worst case scenario for them, losing to Miami, going 2-1. I mean, they're still looking at a 9-3 record, more than
Yeah.
likely. Maybe 8-4, but probably 9-3. And that's worst case scenario. I mean, they could blow through the rest of their season, easily be 11-1 at the end of the year. So, I mean, and they got their coach. I like their coach. He's a younger guy, and I mean, he's got a lot of fire to him. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head.
Golish.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
he's a really good
He'll
coach.
be brought up soon.
Yeah, he'll be
Like he'll
promoted.
get picked up. Yeah, no, he'll get picked up by somebody big. I've already seen the photoshops of him in an Alabama polo. Like it's funny. He's a very unique coach just because he's very like he's a defensive guy, but he's also like he's born Russian. Like he's a full on like mobster.
hmm
So he's a very interesting character, but he runs his program very very tight, which is why like the if Byron Brown was caught at a frat party, like that would be a very realistic suspension for him. Just seeing the way Alex Golish runs his program.
Yeah. Well, and then moving on here, the feature game that we had last week was the only ranked matchup from this past week, if I'm not mistaken. Michigan and Oklahoma, and I think we kind of hit it right on the head. I mean, Oklahoma won 24-13, a little bit closer than I was expecting. I was expecting I mean, it's 11-point game, um, but I was expecting two true touchdowns. Um, Mateer Mateer's not looking bad. He's actually playing pretty well. Um, and I won't say he's like fitting that the Heisman caliber of what everybody was expecting him to be, but he's putting up good results here in the first 2 weeks for what it's worth.
I would agree. I think he's got that gunslinger. I mean, he's thrown picks in both games. He's
Mhm.
again not afraid to let it rip. And he definitely runs. He runs with arrogance, which is again another thing you kind of want from a quarterback that
Mhm.
especially that fits that style. I don't. I think Michigan was very overrated to begin with.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I get the hype between Bryce and Sharon Brown. Like I think it's fine, but like last year, their biggest thing was they beat Ohio State and Alabama, but they also lost 6 other games.
Yeah.
So it's like at the end of the day, they had a tight game, game one. So it's like we didn't really know much about Michigan. To be fair, we didn't know much about Oklahoma either. Uh, but I mean, I think it's a good win, but it's not like a oh my god, like Mateer's it. Like it's more so like there's still some questions, but they're definitely top 15 caliber.
Yeah. Well, And you mentioned Bryce Underwood too. I mean, I think lackluster is a good term to use for his debut against a big name team. I mean, nine for 24 for 142 yards is not great. Um, and then I mean he had 3 carries for -1 yards. Um, so it's like I don't know. Like I feel like, especially with everything that's going on outside of the turf for Michigan, just with all the sanctions and stuff that's been put on Michigan over the next couple of years, I feel like you're going to see Michigan in that just average category, being like a 7-5, 8-4, a fourth best team in the Big Ten, missing the playoffs, and or like with a record that would miss the playoffs, and not really seeing a much out of them just because of like can't really do anything, you know. And then finally, the last game we want to talk about because it is relevant to Auburn, um, the Baylor and SMU game, which was a really fun game to watch, to be honest. That was a really fun game. Um, Baylor won in two overtimes, 48-45, came back from 14 down in the fourth quarter. Um, Sawyer Robertson, if you have him in a college football fantasy league, which I don't, but if you have him, dude's putting up numbers. I mean, second straight week with 400 plus passing yards. He had 4 touchdowns this week. I mean, granted, he's throwing the ball 50 times, but still, I mean, 440 yards and 4 touchdowns is impressive.
Any offense that generates 400 yards of offense total is impressive, but to have it come from you know one uh, one side of the offense, it's still impressive. Uh, Again, their defense still has a lot to work on. I mean, now take it with a grain of salt. You are playing a very highly potent SMU offense, um, but still, hey, I mean, it puts them on a good track to still be a good win on the Auburn schedule.
Hmm.
Baylor is built like a 2015 Big 12 team.
Mhm.
Like it
Yeah,
is a true like I'm just going to outpace you and outscore you. And I think something that kind of I realized after the Auburn game because I was like, Auburn got 4 sacks on Sawyer, which is a pretty good game. Like I'll take 4 sacks all day long. But there were a lot of times he just, he would get the ball out quick, and he did the same thing with SMU. Like I think the biggest thing that impresses me with Sawyer is how fast he can get the ball out.
hmm,
If there is pressure, that's the kind of mature QB presence that I want. So I think if Baylor does not win that game, Auburn is not ranked this week.
agreed.
But now that Baylor went into SMU and won, they had to rank Baylor. If they rank Baylor, they got to rank Auburn because Auburn just went into Waco and beat them. So I think altogether, it was a really fun game. I think Baylor still, still can go in and walk through the Big 12, especially seeing Arizona State, go down and Iowa State look all right. I mean, and,
Oklahoma
and
State
Kansas
got
State, well,
mollywopped.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So, Kansas State's, they're already 1-2, and Avery Johnson's dad
they
and
lost
brother
to
are
Army.
still fighting. So, I mean, Baylor's got a good chance to go to the Big 12, especially with what they've seen, and now seeing that Auburn's not the worst loss in the world to them anymore.
Yeah. Well, and two points there. Number one, just talking about their offense production. I mean, we're talking about, oh yeah, they had 440 yards passing. I mean, they had another 161 yards rushing, off 44 carries. So they had 600 yards of offense. Like talk about offense production. Like 600 yards, 6 touchdowns. Like that's crazy. That's like a pretty high production, even for a a Big 12 team. Number two, I would have been on this episode of the podcast crashing out if Baylor would have been ranked this week and Auburn was not. Just because of I believe it's called the transit of property. Um, like, oh, Baylor beats the number 17 team in the country. They get a rank. Auburn beat them. Oh, they're not ranked. Like, I would have been out here. I'm almost crashing out right now about it. It didn't even happen.
Grayson's
So
pissed about hypotheticals.
yes, exactly. So, but and then the last thing too is like I mean, just to touch on one point, like Kevin Jennings started out the first half for SMU looking really well, like putting the ball where it needed to go. He like Nick, I think you were the one that was talking about it in the group message. Like he's got a weird throw, but he's accurate. And then all of a sudden, like when the offense started sputtering, like it's like Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's like when you needed him most, he vanished.
Pressure can do a weird a weird thing. Uh, I mean, you talk about it all the time. Like once a quarterback loses his moxie and loses kind of his get after it, like you can go to weird places. I mean,
I
yeah.
think I'm kind of jealous because SMU they got Baylor to bring their safeties down. Auburn never did, so they just kept running it. But the first half, I mean, Baylor brought their safeties down sometimes, and that's when Kevin Jennings threw it over the top. He had the 50-50 balls, and against Auburn they didn't see that. But I think once they went back to dropping them, I mean, I think Baylor's got an okay D line. Um, they're all right. I think they're average. But they were able to stop the run a good bit against SMU,
Mm-hmm.
especially in that second quarter, and so they had the ability to drop their safeties. And I think that's kind of what made Kevin Jennings uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, and I guess that leads us into the meat of this podcast, uh, going into the Auburn recap. I mean, I'm not going to spend too much time just because it is Ball State, right? I mean, wasn't expecting like a dog fight here, but I do have three main takeaways. The first one being the Auburn defense has the potential to be one of the most exciting things to watch in college football. Let me expand it a little bit. The defense and the special teams between guys like uh, Pleasant returning kicks, Malcolm Simmons returning punts, because Malcolm Simmons had two or three punts that were returned for 30 to 40 yards yesterday. And then their defense, not only with their explosive plays that they have, like with their sacks and the whole 9 yards, one specific person, Sylvester Smith, who is on the team not to play defense, but for murder. He's somebody to watch. The fact that he put a returner in the turf, and then literally the next series he's playing safety, comes down, puts a receiver in the turf, and then in the third quarter,
Grayson
uh,
also got hit by Sylvester Smith.
yeah, no, those are the Blue Moons talking. In the third quarter, it was hilarious watching that play. Like it was a check down pass to the running back, I think, and Smith could have went and broke up the pass. Like he could have been quicker on the pass. No, he sat there and watched him catch it. He was like, "Yeah, I'm about to commit homicide on Jordan Hare Stadium on Pat Dye Field," and hit him. Got flagged for targeting and ended up not getting called, but it was a hard enough hit to where they wanted to call targeting on it. So that's my first takeaway. The defense and special teams for Auburn is very fun to watch. Number two, the running back room at Auburn has the potential to be top five, if not top three, in the country. Damari Alston did not play this week, but Jeremiah Cobb got 121 yards of 11 carries. And not only that, Darrell Robinson had a good run. Omar Mabson got some good carries there at the end. Uh, and this was all without their quote unquote number one Damari Alston sitting him. But the Auburn running back room is very, very scary to a defense just because, like, oh, Damari Alston's not there? Okay, well, Jeremiah Cobb's next up. He's going to be the main carrier of the ball, and he's going to average 11 yards carry. Again, I knew no against it's against Ball State, but the fact that he's able to hit a hole and you know get out of reach of any defender and hit the end zone is crazy. Um, and then my number three right here is talking about the quarterback room, and this isn't as much in a positive light. The only thing, the things I have to say about the quarterback room. Number one, Jackson Arnold has still got a little bit of work to do. I can't tell, and I put it in our group message. I was like, I can't tell if there were some passes there that I can't tell if it's Arnold not making the throw or there's a miscommunication with the receiver. Because there was some that was just like there were some throws that was just like, why was the receiver not hit there? Like there's nobody within 6 yards of him. Like why are we hitting the dirt on that one? And then also too, I wanted to make light that Deuce Knight got some playing time, which is great. Um, what worried me about him, and I know he's young, I know they were just getting him some experience, and that's fantastic. He fumbled twice. Um, Not a great look. So I know he can clean that up, and again, I know he's a freshman, but those were the two things that just stuck out to me. Is like there's still a little bit of inconsistency with Jackson Arnold, and then Deuce's decision making is still not there. So I'm hoping that gets cleaned up here in the next few weeks.
I think with Deuce, it's first off, it's good that it's happening now, and it's not a oh like Jackson Arnold's thrown three straight picks.
Yeah.
We need life. All right, Deuce, come in. It's hey, we're up, and if you're able to have those times of like, all right, like Deuce, you came in. Now we have film. You've seen, you've gotten your feet a little bit wet. You're in a live ball situation. No, it's the whiskey talking. Um,
Situationship, you say?
um, and so I think that's good. Um, Jackson Arnold, I mean, he had four incompletions.
Yeah.
I think there were a couple times I've been very back and forth on this. There's been a couple times that he held on to the ball too long. It's like there's a post or some kind of deeper route that there's a smaller window and he didn't pull the trigger on it. And it's like I want a quarterback that will take like a John Mateer. I want a little arrogance, which I think Jackson does that in the run game. But I think he's a little hesitant in the pass game. But um, on the flip side, I don't want to complain too much because it's like, all right, you have the eighth best QBR in the country, and you were not careless with the ball, and you got the ball into safe spots. It's like whereas Peyton Thorne, sure he would throw for 300 yards, but he would be 21 of 43 with two picks along with it. I would much rather it be efficient. And I think as he gains more confidence, because again, this is the first game that he's truly like, all right, like the passing lanes are open, like these hitches all day long. And he had a little bit more area of looseness, I guess you can say, of all right, you can do what you want with the pass game. And I think that's what really opened it up. I think that's again like 24 of 28 for 250 and three touchdowns. I'll take that all day long, whether it's Ball State or whoever. It's just I think it'll come. I think it will be better as he gains confidence and he actually lets it loose a little bit. Um, but again, I think it was a good play call day. I mean, there's 33 passes, 34 runs, very balanced. It was a good look on offense.
Well, you could look at it a couple ways with Arnold. Game one, you rush for 150 something yards, whether they be designed or whether you're scrambling. I could imagine going into game 2 saying, "Hey, let's maybe look for some concepts or just holes in zones instead of, oh, 1-2, all right, I'm gone." Um, because that's what it seemed like. Okay, we're not throwing the post because we're wanting to influence the safety to maybe throw something underneath, but it's not there. But by that point that we've waited for the safety to be influenced, both windows are gone, but we're not taking off, right? So we're kind of, I would say normally if you're in a situation where, like, okay, the post is not there. We needed the post to be there. This route is going to take way too long to come open. But maybe if I take off and try to get people moving across the field, then we can throw. So I would say that because it may have seemed indecisive, but it could have just been Freeze having a conversation, or even the QB coach having a conversation and saying, "Hey, let's see if we can really pick apart or just wait for routes to develop instead of just
For sure.
taking off and going." Um, Now, as far as Deuce Knight is concerned, I find it concerning that, well, you take this for what you will. Um, I find it concerning that you don't have your second string quarterback come in from Stanford, your transfer. We're going to throw in the 5-star freshman. Um, Now, and it could have been too, hey, we got to see if you're a practice player or not. Sure. You probably light it up in practice. You might not. I mean, who knows? But let's see how you do when the lights come on. You've got 80,000 people screaming at you, and hey, you took off a lot, put the ball on the dirt twice. Um, that may have rearranged some thinking, but my first thought would be, why not have the more experienced transfer come in?
Yeah. Well, and I guess I think it's to your point of what you're saying. It's like, hey, let's see how you do. I think that's exactly what it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they can play 4 games while to keep their red shirt
Yeah.
and still keep their red shirt,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So might as well see what he's got somewhat early after spring training and see what he can do. Um, I mean Ashton Daniels, the transfer from Stanford, I think I think it's kind of a like a tactical move there. Like you put in your guy that you're going to end up redshirting, right? Like Deuce Knight's going to get redshirted unless something goes very,
horribly
very wrong.
wrong. Yeah,
Yeah, he's going to get redshirted. So I think what Freeze does here is like, okay, Arnold for sure our starter. Daniels, you can't in his head you can't run the risk of putting Daniels in and getting hurt, and then now you have to default to Deuce Knight if anything goes wrong.
Yeah, basically,
completely
if
fair.
Jackson Arnold is crap, he has a bad game, 3 straight interceptions. It's a close game. You need to still stay competitive. Ashton Daniels is your guy. It's not going to be Deuce. It's going to be the veteran. But if there's an opportunity to get some good live reps because you're blowing out at Ball State and you want somebody, Ashton Daniels has had those reps before. He started an entire season. Let the guy that's never touched field, and again, a live ball situation, in college, let him come in. So I think it's like, because again, on the depth chart, Ashton Daniels is number 2.
Hmm.
But again, I think like y'all are kind of alluding to, it's a it's a tactical move of like, all right, let's get him some reps while Ashton Daniels, you are still the number 2. You didn't lose your spot in the depth chart. It's just right now we want to give Deuce these live reps.
Yeah. Before we move on, any other takeaways or anything else from the Auburn Ball State game? Nick, I know you mentioned a few earlier.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch base on a couple players to watch besides Sylvester Smith. Xavier Atkins. He was a freshman at LSU last year, true sophomore. Dog. I mean, he played a great game. He's number 17 as a linebacker, which again, we had a lot of questions at linebacker um, on the first episode. I think he has filled that role beautifully. I think Woodyard's done good, or Woodyard, as he said, has done good. But Xavier Atkins, I mean, 5 tackles, 2 sacks, a forced fumble that should not have been, whatever. 4 TFLs. I mean, it's Xavier Atkins is here. I mean, we know what we were getting in with Riddick, and I think he's done really good. But the other guy, obviously, again, you have Keldrick Falk, but Kieron Crawford on the other side. He got 2 sacks, and he had another sack against Baylor. He's been. I think people are looking to double Keldrick, and Kieron Crawford on the other end, number 24, is. I mean, he's quick. Um, it was fun to watch the defense. Obviously, again, they held them to 68 yards with -3 rush yards. But Jared Smith, one of the young guys we talked about that would be thrown in a rotation every now and then, he came out and got a sack. So it was good to see some of the young rushers, but just the D line. I mean, you really saw like Amaris Williams had a good game. Like, I mean, it is all of these 5 stars that Auburn has been able to get over the last 2 years on D line, and now you're finally seeing these guys like, all right, hey, let's go.
Yeah, I mean,
But
oh, go ahead, Garrett.
well, to have a defense that is able to disguise packages, whether they be coverage or whether um, they are just blitzes. Um, there's only so many ways to skin the cat, right? And one thing that I think Durkin does is he's able to use players like Kedrick Fault to exploit a double team. We know he's going to be doubled, so let's bring a slant or a twist over on that side, because if you bring 2 people and one of them gets doubled, basic math tells me that one person's free, you know, or hey, because all right now, but Crawford, um, he's gotten 2 sacks, couple hurry ups. Like we're gonna have to start, maybe going back to going 1-on-1. All right, so what are we going to do? We're going to do a 4-man slide essentially, and then blitz the linebacker from 5 yards deep. And I mean, you could have drove a bus through that hole that slide opened up. I mean, it's impressive to see, number one, the speed at which all that happens, because I mean, you got a linebacker sitting 4 yards deep, and then a second later, he's now 4 yards deep in the backfield, and you slow it down, you rewatch it, and you do all those things like that. I mean, just you got to take those things into consideration about how fast these guys are having to make decisions to of where to put the ball. You know,
He's not
Well,
as big, but Demarcus Riddick reminds me of Casanova McKenzie, the way he blitz. Like, again, Casanova McKenzie moved quick, but that was also, he looked like he was 6'8", 240.
yeah,
But just the speed that Demarcus Riddick, I mean, it looks like a 4.4 speed, like at linebacker. I know he's lighter, he's 6', 220. But still, it's just, I mean, like you were saying, the linebackers are fast.
yeah. Well, and I guess that leads us into our preview this coming up week. It being
Who do
South
they play?
Alabama Hate Week. I should have wore my South Alabama gear.
I
Um,
don't own any.
So, for everybody on or listening, all six listeners, we all of us are South Alabama grads. So we
Yes.
know the South Alabama uh like program pretty well. And like the ups and downs, especially they've had. Like, not even going to go into the Steve Campbell years, right? Like, had a great coach in Kane Womack that turned into a terrible coach when he left to go coach Alabama's defensive front and is getting exposed.
We
This is
can
a
see how well that turned out for him.
this is a Kane Womack hate podcast. So the two things that I want to say about the upcoming game with Auburn and South is that number one, and I mentioned it off recording earlier, but I'll say it again. South's offense plays into Auburn's defense. Um, which we talked about. Auburn's defense is bend don't break. Like, hey, give up as many yards as you want, just don't let them in the end zone. Like, don't let them score touchdowns. They can kick field goal, don't let them score touchdowns. Watching South against Tulane this past week, which Tulane is going to be one of the better teams that South plays this year, there was about 9 to 10 individual plays where South had the ball at the 2 yard line or less, and they could not put the ball in the end zone. Now, whether that is a play calling issue or an execution issue, it still stands that they are about 10% on putting the ball in the end zone at the 2 yard line. That's not going to bode well against Auburn because Auburn, that's what Auburn's built on. Like, hey, they can have a bang bang play every once in a while. Like, oh, a 30-yard pass here, 15-yard run here. Okay, that's fine. But you're not going to get in the end zone. So that's one thing that South has against them, against Auburn. And then number two, which I didn't mention off the podcast, but I did text BB this last night. Um, South secondary is awful. They are so bad. The South Alabama's defense relies on their front four, and their front four. Don't get me wrong, they have a good front four, but if their front four does not get pressure on the quarterback or get that, for lack of better terms, penetration, on the offensive line, the defense is in hell. So that does not bode well at all. Like, I mean, because if they go if Auburn is number one able to run the ball, which they are going to be able to run the ball, i.e., listen to the past two podcasts and you'll understand why. But if Jackson Arnold, Ashton Daniels, Deuce Knight, Malcolm Simmons, Sylvester Smith decides to throw the ball, they're going to be able to throw the ball against South, unfortunately, for our alma mater.
Who's going to
Well,
block Keldrick Fall?
Exactly.
Who's going to block Kieron Crawford? Who's going to block Amaris Williams, Demarcus Riddick? I mean, you want to get back into the freshmen. I mean, like, there's so many. Like, I just don't know how, like, blocked and in the interior. Like, I mean, it's, I think that's going to be the biggest thing of, like, Kentrell Bullock's going to have a tough time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, like, Auburn's allowed, what now, 61 total rush yards on the season.
Mm-hmm.
And Bishop can extend plays. However, seeing the speed at linebacker that Auburn does have that we just talked about and how well they set the edges on the D line, like I would say Keldrick Falk is faster than most of the linebackers at Tulane. I mean, you gotta. It's just it's back to the age old thing of like it's just a different in size and money and athletic training and the weight room. I mean, it's just going to be evident there.
well, yes. To add on to that, you can take any starter from South, and they would probably be a fourth string at best on Auburn's roster. And then to even throw more, coal in the fire is that depth. Auburn's second string's coming in just as fresh, and you've got the same 4 defensive linemen, the same 5 dogged out offensive linemen. I mean, you're gasping for air, and then here come three more Keon
The
Crawfords,
number one
Kieran
defensive end in
Crawfords.
the
Yeah,
country from last year. Hello.
yeah. I mean, and on top of that, you're getting walloped. I mean, oh, Devin Voisin streaking across the middle. Here comes,
Sylvester
Here comes
Smith.
Sylvester
here comes
Smith.
Sylvester Smith. I mean, we can see what he does to guys that have 40 pounds on him. Now let's see what he does to guys that he has 40 pounds on. I mean,
Gonna pull out a gun and shoot him.
this game is, I mean, I think it's going to look even. It's even going to look worse than Ball State.
I unfortunately think I agree. And here's what I'm looking at, right? So number one, to your point, Garrett, and Nick, you mentioned it too, the depth. Like those five offensive linemen against the front seven of Auburn, which is about the numbers are about 12 to 15. Um, and again, just cycling through those guys, like South's offensive line is gonna have a rough time, unfortunately. The second thing I'm looking at is the defensive side of South. Um, they gave up 21 points to a Morgan State team. They scored 38. That's great. And then they gave up 33 to Tulane and scored 31. Um, so it's trending towards that South Alabama is going to be a team that wins by shootouts. Um, that's not going to happen against Auburn. Like if it is, I will be somewhat pleasantly surprised. Like go Jags, South in mouth, whatever. But I mean, they're not going to be able to score 30 plus points. I'll be surprised if they get
If
20
Baylor
points.
couldn't score more than 24, South is not
Yeah.
touching 20.
So I don't know.
I
Like
think
if
I think they'll get like one breakaway play. I think South will score like 10. I think 10 to 13. Um, I think Bishop is a really good quarterback.
mhm.
I think he is efficient. Um, can he stay healthy? Not as in like, okay, oh, he's like, severely hurt, but like when he gets popped by a Sylvester Smith or, Xavier Atkins or whoever, Keldrick Falk falls on him. What happens? Is he going to get banged up? Is he going to stay composed? Um, I think that's going to be the biggest thing.
There's a difference in getting hit by a defensive lineman from Troy that's 6'4", 260, and then getting hit by a defensive lineman from Auburn that's 6'4", who's also 260 pounds, but can now run, a 4.5 40. Um, I, you're probably going to take a quarter of it, maybe two if you're completing passes and maybe getting yards on the ground, morale still high. But by the time they walk into that locker room for halftime and Auburn's put 35 on the board and you might have crossed the 50 twice, you're just going to be wanting to go home.
Yeah. And I will say too, I think that's maybe a long shot here, but I think Auburn's biggest issue with South Alabama, it's gonna be one of two people. It's either gonna be the 6 year grad out of Crestview, Florida, Devin Boyson, who is our age, or Anthony Eager. Anthony Eager's an explosive guy. Like he only had 7 yards against Tulane, but if you look back at his game against Morgan State, he had 10 receptions for 133 yards and two touchdowns. So I think he's like an opportunist guy if they can get him the ball. So Nick, to your point about like that explosive play, that explosive touchdown you were talking about, I think that's like where that comes from. Um, but oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at his 2024 stats. My bad. He had two receptions for 53 yards. My bad, and a touchdown against Morgan State. Yeah, I was about to say that was a lot for Morgan State. But yeah, so he's had 4 receptions all year, but he had a 34-yard, I think, touchdown against Morgan State. So I think that's like
He's
the
due for a big
yeah
play.
he
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's where um they South will find success. But like I said, unfortunately, I don't
South
unfortunately foresee a lot.
South's offense is predicated on having a established run game. Um, you're not going to pass the ball through the air when everybody in the stadium knows on 3rd and 10 you're throwing the football. Um, I mean, Bullock, the running back, I mean, he had 24 carries for 107 yards last game, um, which is nothing to scoff at. But it's still when you've got guys that can pin their ears back and just absolutely fly, knowing that they're just in a straight pass rush.
When you have a pass rush package,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
there's levels to
yeah,
this. Like
yeah.
it's again, like Auburn is sitting there like they have guys just for third down, and Tulane still has like their best. Like sure, Keldrick Falk stays in, sure, but Keywan Crawford comes in. He's like, all right, like fresh legs. Like I'm not a backup. I'm just here for third downs. Let me go. And that's the scenario that's different about Tulane. Tulane's like, all right, like these are my best 4 guys. They come out when they're tired. Auburn, they have like DJ Durkin has a like we talked about. It's
Yeah,
that
that psychopath.
yeah.
Like when your substitutes could be like generational star players at a school like South Alabama, and you know your best players would be a who is that? What number was he for Auburn? I don't. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty.
I cannot wait for all of the hate into Instagram posts we get from like South pages about us being alumni and not saying, "Oh yeah, South got a chance."
South pages aren't active. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, like I'm mainly talking about y'all remember when Troy, when Shaq came on there when Duke was playing Troy, and it said they were like, "Oh, this sounds like 2 frat guys. Like, who's Troy?" And then Troy came out saying like, "Hey, Shaq, we're Troy." Like, yeah, like okay, yeah. Show your Cal College campus where nothing makes sense out in the middle of nowhere in Pike County, Alabama. Like, get out of here. Um. All right, well, to wrap it up real quick, we'll talk about some of the big games coming up just in the world of college football. I've got 4 right here I wanted to bring up. First one, Clemson and Georgia Tech. Clemson obviously not looking great this year, especially with their game against Troy. I'm glad Clemson won. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad they beat the Cal College down. Well, they didn't beat them down. I mean, they won by like 9 points or something or 11 points.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I'm glad they got a win and Troy didn't. Troy can say like, oh, we tried. But so this actually might be a pretty good game because they're playing in Atlanta. Um, I think unless Dabo turns something around during ACC play, I mean, I see Georgia Tech winning this. I don't. I
oh,
mean,
absolutely.
I think they stick to their guns. I think they run the ball a decent bit. I think Haynes King goes out there and makes plays, and I think Georgia Tech beats Clemson right here, and Clemson drops out of the top 25.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah,
think it goes one of 2 ways. I mean, it's either going to be a close game that Georgia Tech pulls out, or Clemson comes out and blows Georgia Tech out.
yeah,
I mean, I think Clemson can. I'm not going to be a Clemson
but will
stan
they?
here, but yeah, correct. I think if Clemson gets it all together, sure. But if they're struggling, like again, you know, lost to LSU, close game, whatever, then you come and really struggle against Troy. And they have Antonio Williams out, who's been hurt since LSU. But again, I'm not a believer that one receiver is going to make or break an offense. Um, so I mean, again, I think Cade Klubnik is a good quarterback. I I was a little wrong about him. Um, just saying from last year to this year, it's been a step back. Uh, but I tend to agree that I think Georgia Tech favors in this game, but I also wouldn't be shocked if it's like it's a 38-14 kind of game. Clemson wins. I wouldn't be shocked.
So it's funny that you say that, just talking about favors and odds. Clemson's still favored 9.5, which is crazy to me after just seeing the past 2 weeks. Um, the next game I want to touch on real quick, just because I think it might be a little bit of a sleeper game. We'll see. Not according to ESPN bets. Wisconsin versus Alabama. Alabama gets a big game against ULM, win 45 to whatever. And then you have Wisconsin, a surprisingly like favorite team down here in the Southeast. Uh, so spread is Alabama 20 and a half. Uh, do you guys have any thoughts on this of like how it's going to go?
I don't think
Um,
Wisconsin has speed. I think that's like
no,
they're good at stopping the run because it's
big bodies
oh
fill up large
yeah like
spaces.
oh yeah exactly. But I don't think they have the speed on the edge, and Wisconsin does not have the offense. I mean, again, look at Florida State; they're quick as hell, all of them.
Like we said earlier, or like I said earlier, pressure is a heck of a thing to have to deal with. Talking about, I wanted to say this real quick before we moved on, but like talking about Klubnik, like Klubnik is suffering from the same thing Carson Beck did 2 years ago. You're a favorite. You are supposed to win the Heisman. You're supposed to go win the national championship. And I think for Alabama, I mean, it was all right. You're supposed to have a bounce back year. We've got, the world's worst quarterback, Jalen Milroe, off the field. Psych. Uh, you know, the pressure for Ty Simpson to come in and be the guy, right? I mean, and guess what? You didn't. And FSU, a team that was looking for a comeback, chip on the shoulder, right? They got it. And now Alabama's reversed. All right, we got to go against ULM. They dropped 73, probably because the starters played all 4 quarters to to make themselves feel better. But I think at this point, sitting at 1-1, you've got Wisconsin at home. The fans are already. You don't have much to lose. Let me just say that you don't have much to lose. And I think when you can play that way, when you can play with your back against the wall, you just play better. I think when you come in scared to lose or not trying to lose, that's when you lose.
Yeah. Well, and to your point too, just talking about the fans, like I can go on Ticketmaster right here. Apparently, there are tickets as low as $20 to the Wisconsin and Alabama game. So I think to your point, I think Alabama does play better just because like the standard has been set that the standard is lower this year. So I think they beat Wisconsin pretty handily. I mean, 20 points maybe. I feel like 17 is a little bit more realistic, but yeah, I mean, I think Bama gets the win there. Um, Another game that I did not realize was this week is Georgia and Tennessee in Neyland.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that might be a pretty good game. So one thing I will say about Georgia, and I'm going to say it kind of lower because I don't
Say
want to
that
get.
with your chest.
No, I'm going to say it lower because I don't want to get beat after I exit this room.
Yeah, excellent.
Um, I am. I'm still not sold on Gunnar Stockton. Um, don't get me wrong, dude is a great playmaker. Like he makes a lot of plays with his legs. Um, but in 2 games, one against Marshall, one against it was like East Texas A&M Community College or something like that, like against nobody. He's got 417 yards passing in 2 games. But again, he is making a lot of plays with his legs.
Well, hold on, before you move past this. All right, he is 40 of 58 for 2 touchdowns in 2 games.
Hmm.
Tennessee's quarterback, Aguilar,
Hmm.
39 for 59, 5 touchdowns
Yeah.
through 2 games. Okay. Um, running backs are about the same, 25 for 116. He's got 24 for 161 for Tennessee and 3 touchdowns. They look the same, essentially.
Hmm.
They look the same, which, of course, the receivers are going to have a little bit more yards just because Aguilar is throwing the ball.
Yeah,
But I think what it's gonna come down to is scheme.
I agree.
Who can out scheme the other?
I agree. So I think this is going to be a close game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I really do think it's a toss up. Georgia's favored by 7. I I think Tennessee is going to cover, especially at home, and I wouldn't be surprised if
I'm
they just
gonna say
outright win.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's again, it's hard to beat a team at home, no matter who you play. Just the crowd, the energy, and I mean, Josh Heupel's not a bad coach by any measure. Um, the dude has a wacky offense, but it works. Kids buy into it. Um, I mean, I think if Georgia gets down early, Tennessee runs away with it
Yeah, I
because
think.
Gunnar Stockton cannot produce the offense to come back.
Yeah, I think Tennessee wins. I think it's going to be one of those like on paper Tennessee wins by 7, but Georgia never really had a chance to win it. It's like, oh, it's technically one possession, but it was like, okay, well, but Georgia didn't have the ball to end it, and Tennessee just kind of
Or like they scored to make it within
yeah,
one
garbage
possession with
time
like
to yeah.
50 seconds. Yeah.
Um, and then Alabama goes into Georgia week after a loss like that, and that's when Georgia shows their teeth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would agree. I think because that's the thing too. It's like Georgia Alabama has been established as a rivalry, and I think Georgia. I mean, I know Kirby's a mastermind at manipulation and gaslighting his players into thinking they're down, but it's hard to think like, okay, these players aren't sitting there looking at the Alabama game, the game after Tennessee,
Yeah.
and thinking, oh, we get them at home, it's going to be night, and there's rumor that they're doing blackout jerseys. Like,
Tough.
yeah, that's hard to not look forward to.
Hmm.
So yeah, I could see kind of like Texas A&M and Auburn last year. Texas A&M getting ready to play Texas, but they have Auburn at home, and it's like, all right, like let's go get Auburn out of the way and then focus on Texas. And it's like, oh, Auburn upset us.
Yeah.
I could see the same thing here.
Yeah. And wanted to make mention for this last game. South Florida and Miami do play this weekend. Miami. Might be a better game than we're anticipating. But the other game, the last game that uh, is worth mentioning this week is A&M and Notre Dame. And again, like the spread here is Notre Dame 6.5, and I don't know if it's just me, but I think again, I think A&M gets an outright win here. Like I'm just not like impressed with Notre Dame. I don't know if it's maybe just like Miami is better than I was anticipating, and that's I'm still trying to catch up with that. So I think Notre Dame is worse than what they are. But unless A&M just chokes, I just don't really see uh and again, like we have one game to base Notre Dame off of. It's the Miami game. That's the only game we have to think about. Texas A&M, on the other hand, I mean, they're 2-0. Granted, it's against UTSA and Utah State, right? Like the only thing is they're allowing about 23 points a game against their opponents. So,
I'm not sold on Texas A&M. I think that's the biggest thing of like I really like Marcus Freeman as a
mm,
coach for Notre Dame. I think he's one of the up and comers,
Absolutely.
going to be a Dan Lanning type
Yeah.
of coach that I think Notre Dame wins handily. I think they win by 10, 13, 14. I've not been impressed with Texas A&M at all this year, offense or defense. I think their defense for who Texas A&M has been and it's usually a very like similar to Auburn. It's like, oh, they have a bend don't break defense that doesn't let up many points. They're nasty, and it's usually their offense that struggles. Um, I think they've let up a little bit more and let some games be a little closer than need be. And Marcel Reed just does not look to be improved of last year. I think Marcel Reed was good last year.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't seem like he's that much better. I think the biggest difference is they've got a couple good receivers, like with Casey Concepcion. But I personally am not sold on it, and I would not be shocked if Notre Dame comes out and kind of, again, I'm not saying blowout. I'm just saying it's a handy win.
Not that I disagree with you.
It's fine
Carr
if you do.
Say we just
Carr showed a lot of promise in the later portion of the Miami game.
in the fourth
Um,
quarter.
I think once he is able to kind of screw his head back on a little bit, and the lights kind of got a little dimmer, and again played with nothing to lose, um, he played better. Um, I think Texas A&M's defense is better than Miami, but I think with Notre Dame having played Miami and having played a quality team, they will have the edge over a 2-0 Texas A&M who has played,
UTSA and Utah State.
Jasper High School and and Dothan High. Um,
Dothan High beat Enterprise High School 69-22. You better watch your mouth, okay?
so I think it'll be a close game. I think again, if anything, if Marcel Reed can't throw the ball, he will try to run the ball. I think that will play into Notre Dame's favor. But with Marcel Reed being a second-year starter, well, I say second-year starter, he'll have 2 years of experience under his belt. Um, he'll be able to run the offense a little bit better than he did last year, hopefully. Um, but I think Notre Dame will win, but it'll be a Notre Dame's driving with 4 minutes left, set up for a field goal and kick it. I don't think it'll be Notre Dame from the get-go has the upper hand in the game,
Yeah.
contrary to what ESPN believes.
So I think for Notre Dame to win in my eyes, there has to be two things that happens. Um, Number one, kind of like what you're saying, like Carr. Carr has to play like he did the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
He can't
yeah.
play like he did the whole Miami game.
Mm.
That remains to be seen. I mean, obviously, one game, they got a bye week this past week. Number two, and I'm saying this for the outcome of the game and the outcome of my fantasy football league. Jeremiah Love, I need you to run the ball and score touchdowns. I love you. You were my first pick in college football fantasy. Please, please score a touchdown.
Again, I think he produces when Carr produces. They don't have a Riley Leonard or a pseudo Haynes King where you can run the guy for, 15 times for just straight QB powers, and then psych, Jeremiah Love's going to run it now. Who's hasn't touched the ball in 15 plays because Riley Leonard's ran QB power down the field.
Nick, any other context?
Disagree with me, Nick. Disagree with me.
I mean,
sorry,
if
I gave
Garrett
a base
actually
boost, by the
knew
way.
ball, if Garrett knew ball, I mean, it'd be different. But I mean, here we are. Nah, I mean, again, like, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I just don't think Texas A&M. I don't think Mike Elko's that great of a coach. I mean, at the bare minimum. I mean, I think Marcus Freeman's going to have his guys inspired, ready to go. And again, like I think Texas A&M's D line is just not what they used to be. It's still
No.
decent, but I mean, Texas A&M was again like they were top of the line on D line, and I don't think they have that right now. Where I think the Jeremiah Love, CJ Carr can combo can do damage. Where if again, I know CJ Carr is not a Riley Leonard, but if there's a 3rd and 3 and it's a pass play and there's a levels concept and they're all running, I think Carr will have a chance to make those first downs. And
Hmm.
I think that's going to be the difference is again, like once they wear down on that already not great looking defense and they control time of possession, that's when Texas A&M's in trouble because what if they go 3-and-out because Notre Dame's got a great defense? Well, I think Carson Beck's a better quarterback than Marcel Reed. And, Carson struggled at times. He had a crazy miraculous one-handed catch for one of the touchdowns, and like as you were saying, and I don't think Marcel Reed is going to be able to produce like that. And I think again, like you said, I think running the ball kind of plays into what Notre Dame wants you to do because again, they're going to be they know how to scout. They know they're going to watch that. So again, I mean, sure, prove me wrong with SEC dominance, but again, I don't see it.
Well, I think this will be a great game to gauge Texas A&M. Number one, because so sorry. Hold on, I'm trying to pull something up here.
And while he's pulling that up, that's a good topic that we'll probably hit on like a bye week is just like the SEC play in general this year. Just compared to, I mean, the
Well,
field, you know?
well, Auburn is sitting in a great spot here, truly, because Texas A&M is about to play Notre Dame, who
Mhm.
Auburn will see in 2 weeks. So you get to see them play I would say, a somewhat decent defense. They're not a pushover by any means. And then Georgia, who Auburn will play in 3 weeks, plays Alabama
The
in
week prior.
the week before. So you're going to get some great film. You're going to get some great looks. Uh, and this is what I love about SEC play is that your opponents are going to be doing the scouting for you. Essentially, is that while Notre Dame is not in the SEC, they are still a quality football team. Um, whereas Texas A&M, I believe, has kind of become like I don't want to say a laughing stock for the SEC, but uh, they are swiftly becoming a
Well,
very
everybody knows what
Florida-esque
they're going to
team.
get. It's going to be an 8-4 or 8-5. Everybody knows. I mean, they haven't
Yeah,
been. The only year that they were even close to anything was COVID,
yeah,
and chalk that up to COVID.
yeah. I think having the rotating door at quarterback that you did between Zach Calzada, who is now at Kentucky, and then Connor Weigman, who, if I'm not mistaken, is not there anymore. And I don't even
Off the
think
face of the earth.
I don't think he's even starting at where he did transfer to. And then Haynes King was there at one point to play for Tyler Johnson. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it has been a revolving door at the quarterback spot.
I'll end on this. You were talking about revolving door. 3 previous Auburn quarterbacks played last weekend uh, for Robbie Ashford, Zach Calzada, and TJ Finley all had appearances. Um, Thank God. Yeah, I will take 24 of 28. I will. Jackson Arnold is exactly sure he hesitated on a
uh,
couple throws. Sure. Whatever. I'll take it. because those three people just played, and they were, all three of them were not only on the roster together at the same time, they were all competing for the job. I'm pretty sure besides Zach Calzada, because he just didn't want to play because of his bum ass shoulder, still hurt apparently. Then TJ Finley and Robbie Ashford, those are your guys, Dumb and Dumber. I mean, dude,
Well,
I will take.
let's not fail to mention under what coaching staff this happened under.
I get that.
Well, and then I mean, but look at the positive that came out of that, though. I mean, the quarterback after is currently a quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals right
No,
now.
he got cut. He didn't even get waived. He got cut.
They gave him a
All
pink
right. We're gonna
slip.
have to close this up. I'm about to drop off into a slippery slope. This is about to get bad.
All right.
I'm about to let several years of
Cut it off.
Per request of Nick Noah, that ends episode 4 of Plain D Podcast. Go listen to us wherever and go follow our socials. And until next week, ladies and gentlemen, don't get hard counted.